I'm divorced. I thought I'd be happier, except the judge set the child support amount
Okay.
at $326 a month. $326 a month for 2 kids for child support is what he has to pay me. $326 a month because he's not working.
She fumbled the
Because
bag.
he chooses not to. I was able to cross-examine him, which was fun. And I asked him how many hours a week he spends working or trying to sell houses, because technically he still has a real estate license. So technically he's still a realtor. He said 15 hours a week approximately is how many hours he works per week. Grown man, grown able-bodied man with transportation and no childcare to worry about, says he works 15 hours a week, which I think is kind of a high estimate. I'd put it more at like 0 hours per week. So $326 a month for 2 kids. Fun, right? And this is after I was super gracious and let him keep his parenting time. The guardian ad litem recommended 0 parenting time for dad.
Yeah, I can agree with my female viewers, if I have any watching. I think I do. Dating a guy who's a bum, he's lazy, he's not working. Yeah, 100%. I don't advocate for dating those sort of dudes. But this woman surely must have seen glimpses of that. He didn't just become lazy and a bum overnight. And then she divorces him, and then she makes a video saying he's not this, he's not that, he's a bum, he's got no money. But then you're annoyed that you're not getting his money. So what she's pretty much saying is, I would have been happy with half his resources or more. You know, most people would be happy that they've got custody of the kids, not how much money was getting paid out. The worst part about the video is when she says, I was super gracious to let him have parenting time with our kids. Like, that's their dad. That's their dad. It just shows how flipping crazy she is.
Divorce is probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, you guys. It's been a year since everything got finalized.
Okay.
And I am living my best life.
You sure? Are you sure?
I am thriving really lately, and finally happy with my routine and my solitude and the things that I do on my own. But this week marks a year, and I'm feeling
Happy?
that grief, just kind of clouding over me, which is wild. It's this person doesn't even exist in your life after 7 years, and like the thought that the things that you thought you were going to build together no longer are viable.
It's been a year though, you know. Breakups suck. No matter what magnitude, you just got to move on with your life. You win some, you lose some.
So it's just a confusing place to be, you know. Went out last night, had a great time, but now I'm feeling a little in my feels, if you would say. So if you're somebody that's struggling with a divorce, you're not alone. And specifically, if you're the person who asked for the divorce and you feel sad.
I see what the problem is here. I know what's happened there. This is the guilt. They're the person that initiated the divorce, and now they're regretting their decision. This happens in relationships. You know, when people initiate a breakup and then they feel the guilt because they're the ones who initiated it all. This is a very common thing.
It's normal. I feel like nobody speaks about the person that took the step towards it, right? Because they're just seen in a bad light. You stopped fighting, you didn't want to work on it anymore, you gave up, whatever the case may be. But it is really difficult to make that decision, and it is really difficult to stand by that decision, and it's really hard to navigate the feelings of both wanting to now be on your own and still grieving the fairy tale thing that you had with that person.
Yeah, to be honest, like I said during the clip, She said it all at the end about she's the one who initiated the divorce and now she's starting to regret it. She still feels guilty for what she did. But let me know what you guys think of it.
Okay, this video is going to be more of like a rant and just like probably a little bit TMI, but my divorce girlies are going to know what I'm talking about. So when I was married for 13 years, and I like 100% supported my ex-husband in like the startup of his business. Like, I created his LLC. I did all of these things. I pushed him to go to his taxidermy school. I made sure that he had a business. I picked the start date. I made the Facebook page. I did all of the things for him. And in the background, I was building my own business and working full time.
All sounds good so far. What the hell happened?
Fast forward several years later, and we decided to get a divorce. Things just didn't work out. The why doesn't matter, but what does matter, and what I'm really struggling with right now, and I'm sure that I'm not alone, is that I was the breadwinner, right? He was a small business owner, so tax returns, write-offs, all the things. And I worked full-time, W-2, making over 6 figures a year. So when it came down to time for our divorce, even though the reasons of the divorce were not my fault fully, no, I shouldn't say that. I'm just as much to be held accountable for the divorce as him.
I was just about to say, she's not going to be accountable for what she done. Then she went back on it. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt for that one.
Anyways, because I made the majority of the money on paper, I was required to take all of the debt in my divorce or pay him alimony or child support.
Damn.
And quite frankly, you got me f***ed up. Because I ain't no motherfucker. So I willingly took all of the debt. And 100% am supposed to pay for all of the kids' activities and all of the things, which I do. And like literally everybody in my life told me not to do that. And I thought, it's fine. I've got it. I'll be able to handle it. Everything's fine. I'm going to be able to do it. And here we are like 2 years out and I'm literally drowning. I quit my job to take my business full-time last year, and it was really I didn't really want to quit. I really wasn't financially ready to quit, but I had missed so much work because my oldest son had, been hospitalized for his mental health a couple times, and then my daughter with her diabetes, and I was a sales commission job, so my customer service score was dropping. So it was like a mutually agreeable, like, okay, we're going to see you later type deal with my full-time job, and I am just like, I'm drowning in debt.
Well, my response, initially when she said she didn't do anything wrong and then she went back on it, fair play to her for that, for being honest. But again, why does this stuff need to be on social media for everyone to see and hear? I don't get it. But who brought on the debt? That's what I don't know. Was it a joint thing? Did they both put themselves in debt? Did she put them in debt? Did he put her in debt? So whoever made the debt should pay it, in my opinion.
So here's how I learned how to meet my own needs after divorce. So I'm that girl that was in relationships from the time she was 14 years old until at 31, I looked at my husband and I was like, peace out, dude, I'm gonna go do me now. But it didn't take me long after leaving my marriage to just find the next guy. The thing was, the next guy was a lot younger and I knew that it wasn't going to last forever. He looked at me the same way. It was a casual thing. But ending that casual thing, that's when it got really hard. Casual guy and I are still great friends, but separating that meant me going out on my own emotionally for the first time since I was 14 years old. When that casual thing ended and I was like, okay, Jade, we're doing this. We're gonna learn how to just fulfill our own needs. I went through at least a 6 to 8 month span where I was very angry at men. Very angry.
I think your first husband and the men should be angry at you, mate. I don't know why you're trying to get sympathy out of it. You were playing those dudes. Marriage is scary because what if he ends up cheating when I'm 45 with 2 children and ruins our life? We spent so long building together and I end up divorced, old and alone. And I guess that says lonely for the rest of my life.
And you'll be okay if that happens. Do your best to choose the best person with integrity. Don't look for superficial qualities. And this type of thing happens to men a lot. It's not just exclusively a woman thing. This is also one of the reasons why I think it's important to have your own separate life from your partner. To have your own hobbies, goals, and you're just enjoying life. It's hard enough for your relationship to fall apart. But you don't want that to be your entire identity, so you're just again, you're lost. And unfortunately, if you want to have a healthy relationship, you do have to put yourself in a position of vulnerability. So I'm not telling you to not be vulnerable in any way, but ultimately this is a risk you do have to take. So instead of caring about stuff like height or how much money they make or their status overall, try to find a man that has integrity, that is honest and open, and will show his flaws. A man whose values are very important to him and he does his best to match them. And this goes for the guys too. Look for a woman with these same qualities.
Yeah, and she's completely right about the risk. Every single relationship, no matter how good it is or whatever, every single relationship is a risk in itself. Some higher, some lower, but all of us can hope that the person we love and care about won't, you know, wake up one day and think, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, we can only hope that doesn't happen. You know, relationships are full of risks.
You are dealing with a black man. You need to have...
Straight men aren't straight.
At least the small thought that he may have either been involved with a man sexually or he is actively still dealing with men.
I don't know what sort of guys you dated in the past, but that is not the case, all right?
And you don't know about it. Me personally, whenever I've dealt with a black man, I've always just had it in the back of my head based off of certain things where I'm like, he probably is or has had relations with another man before.
Crack is cheap.
Listen, what we're going to get from this video is, don't do drugs. Don't do them. And a girl actually responded to this woman. Let's give it a watch.
But why though? Why would you as an older woman sit on a platform and give that type of advice to women and younger women in general? Why would you advise women to go into a situation with such a poisonous thought process? Yeah, you know, talk to that black man, but just know in the back of your mind, have that slight thought that he's probably had an encounter with another man. Why would I go into a situation thinking like that?
Yeah.
And then when I went on your page and I came across yet another video of yours and you went on to say, yeah, I used to be a stripper, so I know a lot about men. And no, baby, you only know your experience. And because you were out there putting yourself out as trash, that's what you received back.
Salute right there. Preach.
The truth of the matter is, you get what you put out. You put yourself out as trash and you receive trash back. I'm not saying that all men will disrespect women that's strippers. But the point of the matter is, you're not going to get the best version of most men when they find out that that's what you are and who you are and that's what you've done.
Yeah, she ain't wrong. And I don't think there's a guy on... Well, I guess there are guys on this planet, those guys who pay for OF subscriptions. But normal guys don't see any girl who does that for a living as a high value woman. None of them do.
Now, you may not be a stripper in today's world, but your name still sets in that setting. So therefore, men are still going to respect you as such. This is why we have to be a little bit more aware of what we do when we're younger. This is why I tell young girls to be self-aware of everything that you do when you are younger, because it's going to follow you regardless, and it's going to lead you to be an older woman that's, I'm not going to call you bitter, but I think it's very, very interesting that that's your take on black men. But I can only assume that you're not going to have great experiences with black men, because black men have a stigma about how they choose to feel about women that's strippers, ex-strippers, OnlyFans, and that's their right. So because they're not respecting you, you'd rather put out that type of information for other women to feel like that's what it is with black men. So we can what? Not date them because they don't date you? You and Shira, y'all are older women that's giving the younger girls the most terrible advice ever.
Literally, yeah. Literally the most... I thought when I first heard it, it was a joke. But it isn't. And that's what's crazy about it. They actually think they're giving good advice by saying that, because of a bad interaction they had and the way they think about it. But she missed out the entire part of her doing that as a line of work.
Men hate women. Point blank.
No, they don't. You donut.
Our whole life we are told, if you do this for men, they'll love you. If you do this for men, they'll love you. If you get married, if you wear the right thing, if you're skinny, if you're pretty, if you cook, if you clean. Guess what? They still hate you. So this 4B movement is basically saying, if you hate us when we sleep with you, if you hate us when we date you, if you hate us when we marry you, if you hate us when we have kids with you, then what? Then let's just not.
Who hates you though? Like, shout out to her ex-boyfriend because he done a demolition job here. You know, he's really broken this girl down. This girl's a waffle, mate.
You're gonna hate us anyway.
What kind of men are you looking for? Who told you that I was looking for a man? Why y'all think who? And why would we look for men? Are men lost? Why am I looking for them?
Oh, it's tiring, isn't it?
Why you think I'm looking for a man?
I think what she's trying to get to is the word no.
Why do people ask me, what kind of man are you looking for? Who the fuck told y'all I was looking for a man? She said they are lost.
Look, she's had a bad breakup. She's not really over it. Soon as someone asked her if she's looking for a man, she's just straight away getting triggered. And she's probably mad that men are lost because they haven't found her yet. She's on a one-way ticket to Catland and Netflix.
I am calling because I wanted to know what your parents' relationship was like.
All right.
My parents were married for 40 years.
And they loved each other?
And my dad died when they were just past their 40th anniversary.
Wow. And they loved each other. I mean, you saw that they loved each other?
Yep.
Hello?
I said yep.
Oh. And you still don't believe that marriage is something for more than just having children or for a green card?
There are no benefits to men.
To men?
Men. For men.
Well, that's a really sad way to look at it.
That's how it is.
Huh. Well, being that I'm not a man, I guess I have no opinion on
What are the benefits to men? Give us the list.
Well, I don't know because I'm not a man, but I would say that it would be the same benefits as to a woman as just to having a companion.
You can have a companion without signing a legally binding document.
No, yes, I agree. I do agree with that.
Without signing over half of everything you own?
Well, you don't have to do that.
That's my point.
Yeah.
There is no benefit to a man.
Huh. Well, knowing that maybe that you're not going to die alone.
You don't have to be married to die with somebody there caring about you.
Yeah. You just know that it's guaranteed if you're married.
There is no guarantee in marriage either. Getting a divorce is easy.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that easy.
It is.
I know. Well...
It should be easy to get divorced and hard to get married.
Maybe it should be easier. Harder to get married.
Too many people are doing it.
Why do I think people are doing it?
I said too many people are doing it.
Yeah, he's not wrong about that. There's a lot of people who have been together for a few months or maybe a year or two and jump into that 10, 15, 20 grand wedding. And then, I've seen it many times. People having this big wedding, like it's all fancy, and then a year later, they're blocked on all socials. Madness.
Yeah, they are, and not ready for it either.
Yep.
I agree with that. Well, Tom, I don't know then.
You didn't have much of an argument for me here, man.
I know. I think I just was hoping that maybe you'd had a bad experience with your parents' marriage, so maybe that's why you didn't have a better view of it.
They were married, they had 4 kids, several grandchildren.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Tom.
Hang on a second, Amanda. Myra, what did you want to say to Amanda?
I wanted to know why you called trying to analyze Tom. Why are you
You heard me.
I think we can all agree to disagree about getting married as a man in 2024, but a lot of people are doing it. And my advice to people getting married, which, you know, if people don't want to do it, that's okay. If people do, great. It's a beautiful thing when it all works out. But if it does go bad, you can be paying a lifetime membership, mate. And that's why I say to guys, you have to be super, super, super careful on who you're popping the question to. Because once you sign that paperwork, you know, there's no guarantee that any marriage will work out, but you have to be 90% sure at least that she's the one, mate.